So the other day I went to comment on my friend's Instagram post, as you do, and discovered, much to my natural dismay, that I was given the option to use AI to write or edit my comment for me, which just feels unnatural. We're living in a world where even the BBC is asking if we need to reframe our definition of art, and I can't read an email of any length without being offered an AI summary. Is it really that ridiculous to have a robot write a comment for you? I personally think so. Hello and welcome to Lights Candle Action, where today we'll be discussing my personal thoughts on the AI epidemic. I hope the video quality is better in this one because I'm trying filming on my phone instead of on my laptop, so hopefully it looks a bit nicer. So let's start with art. AI art is a highly contested topic, and one where I am very strongly on the side of fuck them bots. Look, I'm a writer. I write a lot. Short stories are where my heart lies, and I've been writing them since I was a kid. But I also write shit poetry and YouTube scripts for this channel, and my whole degree is writing things. I'm a literature student. I write every day. So when Alice Helliwell from Northeastern University London says of my digital art, not says my visual art Brevin, that it is hard to see why a urinal can be art, but art made by a generative algorithm could not be, I just can't bring myself to agree. So the urinal comment is referring to the idea that any object can be art, and that art is in the intent. So a urinal doesn't seem like art. And I am not a modern art fanatic. I'm kind of on the, is it really art, or are you just putting objects in a museum for the sake of it front? But with the correct intent behind it, it becomes art, right? The key difference, AI doesn't have any intent. Du Satoy, in the BBC article I'm talking about, argues that the code changes over the learning process and produces something that deserves to be called the creativity of the code rather than the human who started the process. But no amount of code embodies AI with the ability to actually have intent behind its art. No matter how much it mutates, it's not how that works. Creativity, in my mind, is your drive to create. The BBC article defines creativity as the ability to generate ideas that are new, valuable and surprising. I don't think that's fair. It's the intent behind creation. AI has no intent inherently, and it has no drive. If no one ever told me to write anything, would I still write? Absolutely. I might write less stuff I don't want to write. I'd write less essays about the medieval literature because it's just not a natural topic of interest for me. But even without any external force motivating me, I'd still write for the enjoyment of it, for the love of the game. If no one in the world gives AI a prompt, it would never create anything, let alone any form of art. AI does not have the drive to create, so it does not have creativity. The one part of the article that I truly hated was when someone described crediting the programmer or the creator of the art used in the AI dataset as wrong, using the stupidest comparison I have heard in my entire life. Just let me find it again. It's a bit like Picasso is made from the DNA of his parents, but it is his learning and exposure to the world that resulted in his creativity. So far, so good. You would never credit that to the parents, even though everything started with their code or DNA. What? Yeah, sure, on the surface, that makes sense as imagery, that makes sense as metaphor. But Picasso wasn't a plagiarism machine. All of Picasso and of any other artist, no matter their preferred mediums, art is based on their own life experiences, their own brain, their personal tastes, their ideas, their inherent need to create. A piece of code, no matter how mutated, does not have any life experiences, any taste, or any preferences. By definition, AI cannot be credited in the same way that a human artist can, because it does not have a brain to think of these things. It does not have the neural pathways required to create things in the natural way humans do. This is an incomparable situation. It doesn't have the drive to create, therefore it is not creative. I can't fucking do this. If you don't understand that AI is not a human, I am arguing to a wall. We are one part into this video and my blood pressure is already through the fucking roof. So we're gonna move on. Little bit of added fun for you. This is being recorded at 9 o'clock at night because I have a very busy week. I just want to get ready for bed. So I hope this is worth it for you. Okay, right. Push aside art. What about a more personal use of AI? The old classic, r/my boyfriend is AI. I'm not going to call out any posts here in particular because that doesn't seem exactly fair. I think that a lot of the people in the subreddit have real emotional issues and I don't want to be calling them out for the sake of a couple clicks, so sorry. Let's discuss a concept called the ELIZA effect. IBM has this absolutely class article on it. Basically, in 1966, Joseph Weizenbaum created a chatbot program called ELIZA, which is not actually a backronym. I was convinced it was, but it's actually named after Eliza Doolittle from Pygmalion. I found this really interesting actually. It was named as such because in the play, Eliza Doolittle develops like an upper class way of speaking. She's trained to speak more poshly to make it in society. And the kind of theory was that the program ELIZA could also be improved by talking to it. The metaphor doesn't quite match up one to one because actually to make a substantial difference for the program you do need to change the code, which you can't do with Eliza Doolittle because as previously discussed she is a human with a brain. But it's really interesting. So basically, ELIZA just changed your input to make an output. So the example IBM gives is of the doctor program, which was meant to be a psychiatrist. So it either generically responds to everything, or it just rephrases your input as a question. Like, my boyfriend made me come here. Oh, your boyfriend made you come here? Question mark. Really riveting stuff. Really riveting conversation. But despite this, it did not take people long to get attached. Weizenbaum noted that after only a couple of exchanges, his secretary asked him to leave the room so that she could talk to Eliza alone. We automatically humanize AI. Fucking hell, this whole video is about my negative opinions on AI. Yet when I was writing the script for that last part where I was talking about where the name Eliza came from for the program, I consistently called the program her. It's natural. Chatbots like Eliza are designed to imitate real-life interactions. So when we start talking with a machine that's listening and responding to us, of course we get attached. Even if it adds nothing to the conversation, we know this AI is a fiction. We know we're not talking to a real person. There's a logical part of our brain that's sitting there going, hey, remember, this is a program. But the emotional part of our brain is thinking, it's responding to me. That's what humans do. I am talking to a human. I just realised how much you can see the reflection of what's happening in front of me with my glasses. Sorry, guys. Hope that's not been too distracting for you. Humans are a social species, and so if something seems human and communicates like a human, we see it as human. We don't yet have the instinct to understand that something can communicate like a human but be something else, because all of these years of evolution, that's not been a massive problem we've had to deal with. So we get attached. It's natural. It's not healthy though. And I have a very niche personal issue with it as well. I fully think that this is generally unhealthy for the people who are this attached to their AI companions. But one of my niche little issues with it is that it completely destroys your writing style. We all have our own writing voice, no matter how often you actually write. Because Instagram comments and random notes and like just ridiculous things like that you don't even really think about as writing, that's all in your distinct style. Because that's how you think, and that's how you talk, and that's how you write things down. But the more I read through comments on r/my boyfriend is AI, it all becomes this one big ChatGPT fueled blur. You can't tell where they end and your robot companion begins. And even comments that seemed like they should be written by a human, there's just a distinct wrongness about them. Like they weren't written by a human. They were, but their human voice had been destroyed by communicating with AI so much that it was difficult to tell where they began and the AI ended. And that's what I think really worries me about AI. This idea that the way that we draw and write and create, all these natural human urges we've had since the beginning of time, will be irrevocably destroyed by our reliance on these machines. So can we ever use AI morally? Great question. But yeah, I think so. I personally outsource a little bit of my creative process to AI. I've found that my videos tend to do better when I get an AI to make a title and description for me instead of brainstorming them myself, because I don't understand search engine optimization. Now, admittedly, this is a very small channel. We are talking a difference of like 10 views, but we're also talking 10 views is like quite a decent percentage for me, because now I'm hovering at around 20 views a video, which is so exciting. I really enjoy that. That sounded sarcastic, it's not. I'm always chuffed to see that number. I have friends who are in university studying things that are less subjective than literature, who use AI for analysis of text or for tiny coding bugs they can't figure out. I do think that we can learn to live a life where our own creativity is enhanced and not smothered by AI. There's so many uses for it. And that's even just talking about generative AI. AI is not an enemy. Non-generative AI is doing incredible things. That's the AI that people say is doing things like looking at early scans to discover cancers early and stuff like that. It's doing really incredible things. But in order to make sure our creativity is not destroyed by generative AI, to give our human voice a chance, we need real human connection and real experiences to get those creative juices flowing. We're not getting that from an AI. If you just talk to an AI and get an AI to generate art for you, that's not art. That's not talking. That's typing into a computer and letting the plagiarism machine respond. And that's where I think the problem lies. So yeah, thanks for watching. This has been Lights Candle Action. As of tomorrow when I'm filming this, so a couple days before I post it, I think, I will have been putting videos out for like an entire month, which is really exciting. I'm not particularly great at sticking to projects, so a month is a big step for me. And I'd like to thank you guys for sticking around, for watching, and yeah, be sure to like and subscribe. It just fuels my insane rants. Have a lovely week.